but she kind of has nothing to lose because her life kind of sucks. Hey, what's up you guys? It's Avery from A Very Avid Reader, and welcome back to my channel. Now you might be thinking, this is a different angle, a different setup, and that's because I'm sitting at my desk and I'm just chilling. It's more of a relaxing video and I just want to chat. So I'm seated. You guys get a little different view. You can see my bed and, you know, some of the things I have hanging on my wall. But for today's video, I just kind of wanted to do like a reading update, a little chat about what I've been reading, what I plan to read for the rest of the year, that kind of thing. To begin, I'd like to talk about my Goodreads challenge for this year, and I made my goal 50 books to read for this year, and I'm still trying to get to that goal, okay? I'm at 40 currently, and it is November 19th. That really gives me like a month and 2 weeks to read 10 books, which I think is doable. I have just been so busy this semester. I have a job, I am a full-time student, and I have an internship. So reading, I don't know her. We have just been needing to get reacquainted. I say that like I haven't been reading, but I have been reading, but I haven't been consistently reading. So I'll work on a book for like 2 weeks because I'll go a few days without reading because I'm busy, or I just get home from work and I don't want to read because I'm tired and I want to lay on my phone like a sleepy little zombie and watch YouTube videos. As much as I love reading, it is a little bit of work. You do have to, you know, move your eyes. It sounds so stupid, but think about it. It's true. Like, reading a book is more mental energy than just staring at a screen, which is why it's so much easier to just watch Netflix or watch YouTube. So that's where I've been at because I've just been super busy. I've still been reading, and in this video I'm going to talk about some of the books that I've read in the past month. But just in general, So God willing, I will read 50 books this year because that's my goal, and if I don't reach my goal, I will feel like a complete and utter failure. But how are you guys doing with your reading goals this year? Did you set a reasonable goal and you feel like you're on track with it? Did you set a goal that was maybe a little too high and now you're like, damn? Or did you set a goal to read like 2 books this year and you've read like 20 and you're just bawling? Either way, whatever you're reading and how frequently you're reading is valid. But I'm just wondering, let's start up a little discussion with how we're doing. I'm just in my end of the year, end of the semester drained moment where I'm just tired all the time and don't feel like reading. Are you guys feeling that way? But I also do want to say, I really think I've been in a bit of a reading slump because I have been reading stuff that's not good. And stuff that I am not enjoying. It does not suck me in. So I don't feel this, you know, urge to constantly be reading this book because you're so excited about it. So you just want to get to it, want to know what happens next. I've been reading boring stuff that I just don't care about. And I don't start it thinking that that's going to be the case. I feel like I'm going to like the book, I'm going to be excited about it, and then I read it and I'm disappointed. Save one, which I'm going to talk about in this video. So in the past month, I've read 4 books, and like I said, I enjoyed most of them. Only one of them I'm really like, but one of them I also really loved. So we have quite a variety. So to begin, we're going to start with The Appeal by Jane Hallett. And I talked about this in my Read Taylor's Version tag, so I'm not going to talk about it too much. But this is a thick book that is boring. It has a really cool premise because the setup of the book is emails. The entire book is just emails. And so when I saw that, I was like, that's cool. Let me get it. Because it's a murder mystery, and you basically read these emails between a bunch of the characters to figure out who was murdered, why they were murdered, who did it, all that kind of thing. And at first I was interested, but then I got halfway through this book and nothing had happened. There was a few people that were kind of suspicious, but honestly, nothing had happened. It was just boring. Really, nothing juicy happened till like here. I honestly don't know why I didn't stop reading it. I really have to start doing that more. I feel like once I start a book, I just want to finish it, even if I don't enjoy it. And I should probably stop doing that, but I finished it. It was fine. The ending was kind of funny, but it was also just not that good. I don't know. Don't read this. The next book that I read was The Pursuit of Love by Nancy Mitford. I have mixed feelings about this book. I liked it, but I didn't like the characters. I think that's really what it was, slash the main character. So this book follows two cousins, Linda and Fanny, in the 40s, I believe, and they are navigating life and love. It's mainly about one girl, Linda, but the book is written through the eyes of Fanny, who is her cousin, and they have just been best friends growing up, and it's very similar to The Great Gatsby. It's like the girl version of The Great Gatsby, where Fanny is writing about Linda, and you see Linda from Fanny's perspective, even though the book is about Linda. So it's just similar to how The Great Gatsby is about Gatsby, but it's, written through Nick's perspective. But the one thing that I just didn't like about this book is that Linda is a very unlikable character. Nothing about her is likable. She is just very self-absorbed and frivolous and doesn't really think about anybody but herself. It follows her through 3 major relationships with 3 men in her life. You do feel for her at times because she's extremely romantic, and basically as soon as she meets someone she's interested in, she's like in love and is unable to see their faults. So she ends up with the wrong people a few times before she ends up with the right one, and then even then you're not sure if he's really the right man for her. And she just makes bad choices, and I just don't like her. But also you do feel for her at the same time because she has these big romantic notions about what her life will be like, but she's also kind of looked down upon for certain things that she does because of the time. So it's also her dealing with like the sexism and the misogyny of the time that she lived in. So you don't really fault her for that, but you do fault her for some of the other just selfish things that she does. She's very privileged. She grew up wealthy, and I don't know, I didn't like her. I liked Fanny a lot better, even though we don't see much of Fanny. So after I read the book, I actually watched the Amazon miniseries that was released earlier this year, starring Lily James as Linda, and that was a really, really, really good adaptation of the book. It was pretty spot on. They really captured, I think, the characters very well. And I think Lily James did a great job portraying Linda in the same way that you don't really like her character, but that's the way she was written. So she did a great job portraying her. But I'm not sure I would recommend the series. It's not happy. It's not a happy series, but I enjoyed the book more. I think it was written well, and it's also pretty short. It was like not a long book, which was nice. I got through it fairly quickly. So that was the second book that I read in the past month. So after those 2 books, plus the books I'd been reading before, I read The Maidens and The Midnight Library and just didn't like any of them. I was ready for some just YA trash. Not trash as in it's trash, but just YA romance, not having to think too hard type reading. So I picked up A Great and Terrible Beauty by Libba Bray, and I've had this one for a while. I got it at a secondhand bookstore. I talked about it in my thrifting books video. This book was really interesting. It was a weird concept, but it was kind of cool. It follows a girl named Gemma after her mother is killed, and Gemma basically saw the murder in a vision, and since then she started having these visions. And she is sent to a boarding school in England where she keeps having these visions, but she learns more about what the visions are and about other women in the past who have had these visions and what they do and what they mean. And there's also this boy who follows her and warns her against these visions and tells her not to allow them to happen because they're bad. And she's basically grappling with what these visions are, what they mean, as well as the mean girls at her boarding school and trying to fit in with them and make friends, as well as this boy who she doesn't know very well. He's kind of mysterious and just kind of pops up in her life. And this book was good. It wasn't amazing. I love reading YA. So this isn't me being a snob about YA because I love YA. But it just wasn't super exciting. A lot of it took place in the same area. The girls kept doing the same thing, and you're just kind of ready for the plot to pick up. It does at the end, but it's only the last few chapters of the book that things really get interesting, in my opinion. But I wouldn't say don't read it. But it was just another one where I just kind of gave it 3 stars. It wasn't special. It wasn't horrible. It just existed. And I forgot to mention I also gave this one 3 stars. I originally gave this one 3 stars, but I think I'm going to bump it down to 2 because I don't even think it's worthy of 3. Okay, so the last book I'm going to talk about, which I'm actually excited to talk about, we can end off on a bang, is Jane Austen Ruined My Life by Beth Pattillo. This book was so good. After I was really in a reading slump, this one was great. And I think a reason that I loved it is it really jumped into the plot very quickly. And I really enjoy when books do that. I don't know if it's just because I have really low patience, but I'm just like ready for things to happen. And when it takes forever for things to happen, it makes me mad. That's kind of been a theme of this video, but it's true. And this one does. It's about this college professor named Emma who comes home one day to find her husband cheating on her with one of her graduate assistants. And the two of them basically work together to make it look like Emma has plagiarized this paper from the graduate assistant because her husband is also a big tenured professor and basically ruin her academic career. So the book picks up with Emma, literally the first chapter. She's on her way to London because she's been contacted by a mysterious woman who lives there about some missing letters of Jane Austen. And Emma is a Jane Austen scholar. So she is very skeptical that these even exist, but she kind of has nothing to lose because her life kind of sucks. She's an outcast in her academic sphere, and her husband has cheated on her, so she's just not doing well. And Emma basically goes on this quest to different parts of England to do these different tasks in order to be worthy of being able to see these missing Jane Austen letters. She also has 2 love interests with another American professor that she meets in England, as well as her old best friend who she was really tight with before she married her husband. So she's dealing with trying to get her academic career back on track and hoping these letters are the way to do it, as well as dealing with her own love life and her feelings for these 2 men. And it's just good. It's very good. It has everything that I love in a novel. It has romance. It has Jane Austen. It has her going on like a really cool journey to figure out this mystery about Jane Austen. It wasn't super long, so I read it in a few days. So this has really been one of the best books that I've read in a while, and I gave it 5 stars. So that is pretty much it for what I've been reading recently. What I'm currently reading, let me get it. What I'm currently reading is Cruel Prince by Holly Black. I have the dust jacket off, but isn't that pretty? I am really enjoying this so far. I'm not super far into it, but Holly Black and Cassandra Clare like this, and so I figured if Cassandra Clare loves Holly Black and I love Cassandra Clare, then, you know, it only follows that I will also love Holly Black. And I do. I really am enjoying this book so far. I might make a separate video about it, so stay tuned for that. But that's just kind of my reading update for you all. Let me know how your reading is going this year. Have you been going through a reading slump? Or have you just been reading good book after good book? Because if you are, let me know what you're reading, because I really have just been drawing the short end of the stick recently. Anyway, thanks again for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little chat with me, a little different setup, a little different vibe than my normal positioning, but I enjoyed it, so maybe I'll do a few more of these. If you liked this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and thank you to everyone who has subscribed to my channel so far. I love you guys so much. Comment down below what your reading goal is for this year, if you made one, and how it's going. Thank you again for watching. I hope that you enjoyed, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.